Good morning, dear hearts. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I am pleased that any of you made it here through the flooded streets today. Thank you for being here, all of you Marin Countyites, and to those of you that are online with us this morning, thank you for joining us today. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here. I am delighted to welcome you. So for those of you who are here, the way that we begin is by extending welcome to everyone. So please stand. Go and introduce yourselves to anybody you don't know. Make sure that people feel and receive a welcome back in some cases. And those of you that are at home this morning, take a moment to welcome yourself. We're glad that you're here. So pour another cup of coffee or tea.
There she is. Hi, Julie.
And good morning and welcome to you. Good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
All right. This morning, we have Wendy Fitz with us. She is a California musician and singer. She started her life in music at the age of 5 when her mother started her on piano lessons. Also, I understand her sister got an accordion, but she wasn't that interested in the accordion, so Wendy learned to play that too. She's familiar with many styles of music, from classical to R&B, rock, traditional country, Western swing, jazz, and she's a songwriter in her own right. She's written many songs that have been performed for various musical projects. So she's leading us off this morning in a well-known Bob Dylan song. Let's welcome Wendy to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Please stand.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here, and I hope you all will join in and help me out with this tune. They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is not needed. So I remember every face of every man who put me here. I see my light come shining from the west down onto the east. Any day now, I shall be released. They say every man needs protection. They say that every man must fall. Yet I swear I see my reflection somewhere so high above this wall. from the west down to the east. Any day now, anyway now, I shall be released. Now yonder stands a man in this lonely crowd, a man who swears he's not to blame. And all day long I hear him shouting out loud, just crying out that he's been framed. I see my light come shining from the west out unto the east. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Thank you.
So please go ahead and silence your cell phones now so that we won't be interrupted during the service. And I see people still trickling in, so I guess you found your route to get here through all the flooded streets. Good job. So as you silence your cell phone, now that we've sung and introduced ourselves to one another, we're going to turn within as we are joined in consciousness by this morning prayer. So I'm inviting our morning prayer practitioner, Marilyn Letzos, up now. She's going to pray us in. Oh, that's interesting.
Happy New Year. I invite you to come within. Come within. Come back to that secret place of the Most High. That place that always was and always will be. And as I just feel myself come home to myself, to that which is the most real, which is the infinite presence, as I fall into myself, I find the infinite presence right here. And as this is true for me, it is true for everyone. And so we come to that realization, that experience of the power that's greater than we are, that loves everything into creation, every second of eternity. Oh, and this power is love. It is infinite possibility. It is joy that needs no reason. Peace that cannot be explained. Beauty. Wisdom. It's all one life. That life is perfect. That life is God. And that life is my life. And I give thanks for this infinite possibility of good finding its way in and through my life as I open. And again, I feel the call that if this is true for me, it is true for everyone. That power is always, always right here, the reality, the beating of every heart. as I release old patterns of the way things have been before, then I experience the new, the bright, the innocence, the love and the peace that is already speaking to me. And as I release the way perhaps that it used to be, then that newness takes over and shows me the more, shows me the yes of the infinite presence as I again say yes, yes to that goodness. And so I give thanks for the ability to receive, to allow this presence to work for me and through everyone, everywhere. And I give thanks for that newness and that receptivity in this service, for the heavenly gifts. One for each person here, at least one. Oh, I give thanks. I give thanks and let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Mañana ya la sangre no estará al caer la lluvia, se la llevará acero y piel, combinación tan cruel, pero algo en nuestras mentes quedará. Así terminará con una vida y nada más. Nada se logra con violencia, ni se logrará. Aquellos que han nacido en un mundo así no olvidan su fragilidad. Blood will flow when flesh and steel are one, drying in the color of the evening sun. Tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always say, this final act was meant to quench a lifetime's argument that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star. lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on, the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on, the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Thank you.
Here we are in a new year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you. Someone's listening. I appreciate that. And so we have a new theme for this year. This is our own theme, Sacred Connections. And this is recognizing that we are connected to everyone and everything always, without a doubt, without exception. And so we're looking at all the various ways in which we make and keep and break those sacred connections this year. As it's January, I'm asking the question, was there ever a beginning? One of the things that I've been looking into this week, in recognition of January being the year that the month that we generally look back at our basic principles of the science of mind, that when we start off in January, we start off with the mystery, the infinite, the unknowable, the one, out of which everything emerges. And so in looking at the universe, the physical universe, what I've been recognizing kind of for the first time in a way is that everything has a lifespan. So we know that our pets have lifespans. Even the plants and shrubs and trees in our gardens have lifespans, and so do stars. Now, that's not a surprise. Everybody knows that stars burn out, but our sun is a star, which means that some few billion years from now, that star is going to go out, and this planet will no longer be a habitable place at that point. One of the other things I learned was that in the lifespan of a given planet, I was looking into the science of planetary development and the evolution of self-conscious awareness that we have as human beings, and whether or not it's likely that would happen anyplace else. And one of the interesting things I learned in researching this is that we showed up with consciousness almost at the last minute of this planet's lifespan in terms of its billions of years of age. And the likelihood of us showing up in time before that lifespan runs out, the likelihood is very low. It took somewhere between 4 and 5 billion, I can't remember the exact number, of years before single-celled organisms became more than single-celled. Billions of years they existed as single-celled organisms. And then something happened, and they began to become multiple-celled organisms. But it happened so late that the likelihood that life as we know it would develop on this planet and become aware of itself, the likelihood is so low, it's amazing that we ever showed up in time. We've almost come at the very end of this planet's lifespan, not in terms of our own individual lifespans, you see, but just in terms of the life of the whole planet. So the likelihood that all the factors of some kind of conscious life would be available at the same time, in the same ways on a planet, to allow life to develop, and then beyond single-celled life to develop, and then complexities of life to develop to the point where there is a self-recognizing consciousness alive on that planet, is not very likely. So it's possible that we may be alone in the universe, even though it seems unlikely to me. It's possible that we may be alone in the universe, and that the very fact that we exist is quite amazing. The fact that we exist in the way that we do. A lot of what we understand is backed by some kind of science, and then there's a lot that we don't understand. So we have beliefs about the stuff that we don't understand, trying to explain it to ourselves as logically as we think that we can. Now, we know that little children are also quite logical. They make associations with things, and they make logical deductions about what's likely to be true. And most of the time, those logical deductions are missing a few critical pieces of information, so they become a little bit hilarious to us because we have more information. So 2 little girls on their way home from Sunday school one day were solemnly discussing the lesson in the back seat of the car, and one of them said to the other, "Do you believe there is a devil?" And the other one said, "No. It's like Santa Claus. It's your father." A certain reasonable assumption that some imaginary something that you're being given as a lesson actually is being carried out by some actual person who isn't really that, but could appear as that. Yeah. So we do something similar in our own ways. We look at life and the universe and our own being here, and we have assumptions about how this has happened and what it's all about. It appears that religion that believes in intelligent design has a particular framework in which they believe that all occurred. Like everything was created in 7 days, 7 of our days, and that on the 7th day God rested, and that human beings are the pinnacle of creation, and yada, yada, yada. And then we have a scientific understanding of evolution and development and how long all of this took, and so on. And so science says, no, it can't have intelligent design. See, I'm somewhere in this going, but what makes us think evolution isn't an intelligent unfoldment of the universe, of the larger consciousness? It makes sense to me. So there's another perspective. Now, when we look at science, we have over the last number of years moved into, in the Western world, this very materialistic idea of how everything works, that everything is connected to something physical and it exists because of something physical and it can be explained by something physical. So everything that we think, everything we remember, everything we plan for, it all emerges from our brain. It all emerges from our brain. Now, how many of you have ever had an idea? Now, where did the idea come from? Did you logically think your way to the idea step by step? Is that how that happened? Imagination, intuition. Sometimes an idea comes to us and it's already whole. Now, how did the brain do that? So one of the websites that I looked at, that's a scientific website, is questioning this assumption about materialism, everything being explained by something in form. And it said, materialism was an attractive philosophy before quantum physics altered our thinking about matter. Newtonian mechanics is fine for explaining the activities of the brain, the blood flow through the capillaries, chemical diffusion across synapses. But the materialism becomes shaky when we grapple with the mystery of the mind, meaning explaining the source of our subjective personal experience. Do you know how two kids in the same family can have a similar experience, but they interpret it completely differently? I was in a personal growth training a lot of years ago where one woman was talking about how traumatized she was by the fact that her mother would lock her in the closet. When she was upset about something, she'd lock her in the closet. Her mother was, a little anxious, I guess. I don't know what brought that about, but the woman was traumatized by it. And the interesting thing was, there was another guy in this group of people who said, the same thing happened to me. My mother did the same thing to me, but I just thought, she's crazy. So he didn't take it on as a trauma. Same experience, different interpretation. And the interpretation determined how that experience affected that person ongoingly. You with me here so far? So if the material thing causes something else, we should all respond similarly, but we don't necessarily. I was thinking this morning about if we had a life where we were all the same in the sense that we make the same choices, we discover the same results. It would be like, did you see the Olympics when it was, the location was in China? You see the Olympics, the opening ceremonies, where there were thousands of people dressed exactly the same, doing exactly the same thing at the same time. Now, that's very impressive to watch for a few minutes, but eventually it's going to be boring. There's nothing unique or creative showing up. So that's going all the way to one side, saying, well, what if the universe was just material, everything's logical, it happens in a certain way? Okay, that's one view. Then we have our Western society that's also very individualistic rather than community-oriented in a lot of us, in the way that it oversees us. And we're so individual that we lose track of the community, the importance of our interconnections and our support of one another in our efforts to achieve something ourselves individually, to stand on our own 2 feet, to be, whatever. Does this make sense? So you have the two extremes. You have a completely unified, nobody makes any choices out of line, everybody does the same thing together at the same time in the same way. Or this chaos of everybody pushing and pulling everybody else to try and get ahead and have their own thing be more important and more noticed than everybody else's. Now, nobody's purely one way or the other, but if you look at those two extremes, we could easily say neither of those instances really works all that well for a community of consciousness. It is time, I think, now for us, and science, philosophy, psychology, religion, medicine are all looking at the shortcomings of materialism as a guiding principle, as a way of doing things. Medicine has discovered now, research has revealed that the heart communicates information to the brain throughout the body via electromagnetic field interactions. The heart generates the body's most powerful and most extensive rhythmic electromagnetic field. The heart's magnetic component is about 500 times stronger than the brain's. And also, there is now evidence, this is from research I was doing, right? There's also evidence that a subtle but influential electromagnetic or energetic communication system operates just below our conscious awareness. And very interesting research shows that the heart is involved in processing and decoding intuitive information that through its coupling to an energetic information field outside the bounds of time and space. What? An intuitive information, an energetic information field outside the bounds of time and space. What would that be? Where would that be? And using a rigorous experimental design, there was evidence that both the heart and the brain receive and respond to information about a future event before it happens. But the heart appears to receive it before the brain. Now that's pretty interesting, the recognition that the heart is another kind of brain. When they look at the brain, they understand how the brain does certain things. You know, the brain makes sure the heart is beating, the blood is flowing, the food is digesting, the nerves are firing, all that stuff is happening. But they can't figure out how it is that we think exactly. They can't find how it is that we remember. I mean, it doesn't seem to be located in a specific place in the brain. Where is memory when none of the meat that interprets it and allows us to be aware of it is the same as it was when the event occurred? How did the memory hang out with us? We don't know. We don't know. And that's what I love. There's so much about how we function that really is not known. So Deepak Chopra says, when you break experience down to its tiniest ingredients, the physicality of everything begins to vanish. The story we keep telling ourselves depends on reality out there, having a physical explanation, but it doesn't. For example, we depend on sight to navigate through the world, most of us. But no matter what you see out there, an apple, a cloud, a mountain, a tree, it's light bouncing off the object that makes it visible, but no one knows how. There's no light in the brain. So at present, no one can explain how invisible photons being converted to chemical reactions and faint electrical impulses in the brain creates a three-dimensional reality we take for granted. Our brain is interpreting the waves, but how do the waves get in? And why do we perceive that as light when the photons themselves are invisible? Brain scans pick up the electrical activity, so this is why we see things light up. When we do a functional MRI, we see things light up in the brain, so we know something's going on. But the actual nature of sight is a mystery to us. One thing is known, however, and that is that the creation of sight is done by you, by me. He goes on to say, these are difficult truths for mainstream scientists to accept, and some would react to them with skepticism, disbelief, or anger, but following the other track of explanation, beginning with physical objects out there, fails to explain how we are conscious to begin with. That's why in scattered pockets, some physicists are beginning to talk about a conscious universe where consciousness is a given throughout nature. The brain then is operating somewhat more like a processor or receiver of that consciousness, of that information. And so they say in this article also that if some other conscious being whose nervous system and senses were constructed differently from ours were to observe the universe, it might not look anything like what it looks like to us. Our brains take in a limited number of waves in terms of vision, in terms of hearing, in terms of smells and tastes, and we interpret them. The brain allows us to take those in and interpret them. But if we didn't have those abilities, would any of that be? Not as far as we're concerned, it wouldn't be. So this infinite beingness that we are made of, we are part of creating it. We are interpreting it. We are selectively taking it in and giving it meaning. Is this making sense? Are you with me? Now, what we say in New Thought is that God is all there is. There's nothing else. Ram Dass said this, all of this is God in drag. This is the universe showing up as us individualized. So when religion tells us that God, whatever that is omnipresent, somehow or other, we have, as religious communities, come to the conclusion that there is God omnipresent out there, and then there's us. Somehow we don't take in omnipresent to recognize that there aren't exceptions to omnipresent. Omni is all, it's everything. That means God is here, is in your chair. Thank you, Jet. God bless you. Is showing up as you, showing up as me, showing up as everything that we perceive, and that we are more than or bigger than what we appear to be. This is a temporary manifestation, but what that infinite is that's appearing as you or as me is more than that. And our individualized expressions of that one are larger than this life and this body. That's what we say in New Thought. So we didn't start here, and we don't end here. But this is all we remember for now, because this particular piece of real estate, this brain matter, this meat, it can only process so much. And so we cannot then know and access everything and all of it that we are even, because this little thing just is not complex enough to do that, even though it's extremely complex and it does so many things at the very same moment. You still with me here? Yes. Okay, are you stunned or are you present? Okay, so here, wiggle your toes. Wiggle your toes. Rub your hands together. Tap yourselves on the head. Okay, I'm putting you back in your body. If you're at home, do this too. Because sometimes when you listen to this, you go off into the woo-woo and it just gets lost out there, okay? In indigenous traditions, there's one of the other things I wanted to mention today. Indigenous traditions, which have been operating with wisdom for millennia, beyond current science. This is Eastern religions, Eastern medical philosophies. This is all the indigenous people of the world. In a large part, these 4 principles are recognized as fundamental indigenous values, and it transcends generations, geography, tribes, offering an alternative value system to profit and power, which is kind of the materialistic view of everything in value boils down to profit and power. In indigenous traditions, it works this way. There are these 4 principles that tend to be the same. The first principle is relationship or kinship obligations. It emphasizes that all things, people, plants, animals, everything, are interconnected. And interconnected relationships should be considered family relationships, where everyone and everything is valued. So the first of the 4 is relationship. The second one is responsibility or community obligation, which recognizes a responsibility to care for all of our ancestors and relatives, including plants, animals, and stones. That's the second one, relationship, responsibility for community. The third one is reciprocity or cyclical obligation. And it recognizes the changing seasons, the cycle of life, and the interactions between entities in relationship. So the indigenous idea of reciprocity is rooted in the understanding that we're all kin to each other. And the last one is redistribution or a sharing obligation, which aims to balance and rebalance relationships. Indigenous societies have ways of redistributing material and social goods with possessions meant to be given away rather than owned or possessed. They highly value generosity and sharing of material wealth, information, time, talent, and energy. So redistribution ensures that everything is kept in circulation, creating a sense of value for every person in the community. Now that's a different set of values than profit and power, which separates. So in New Thought, what we recognize is when we come to the end of a year and we're moving into a new year, then we have this precious opportunity to choose. To choose. And in our choosing, we can choose what has now served its purpose or what we no longer want to carry with us. What in 2025 was problematic for you in your own thinking, in your own personality, in your own life? What was problematic? It may have been problematic for quite a while. What is it that wants you to let it go so that you can move forward really now into 2026 with a kind of greater clarity, greater uplift, greater energy? I want you to close your eyes. You at home do the same. Close your eyes and just think about this past year. If you could think about a feeling or a tone from this past year that has not brought you great results, that has made you smaller or uncomfortable, what would that be? And just feel into it and see if that particular quality is willing to be let go. Is it asking to be released now? Is it time to let that go from your habit, from your thinking, from your choosing? Now, if something has arisen for you, I'm going to invite you to take that little tiny piece of paper that you received when you came in the door. It looks like this. You can open your eyes now. It's just a tiny little thing. And to write on it the phrase or the word that you are ready, or it is telling you it's ready, to be released. If you need a pen or you need one of these little pieces of paper, raise your hand so we know. And Paula and Amanda will come and find you and give you a pen or a piece of paper. Now you're going to take this little piece of paper and honor what this is that you are letting go of. It has served some purpose, but recognize that it doesn't belong to you anymore, and the universe is asking you to let it go. And when you let it go, what that means is that over the course of this next year, there will be times that that old habit tries to re-arise in your behavior, in your thinking, in your experience. And you are to remember, oh yeah, that doesn't belong to me anymore. I'm not going to engage because this is something I sent into the fire. So go ahead and write those things down. God, the world, and you is what we're looking at today. God, the world, and you. Now, we could just stop by saying God, and that would cover all of that. The recognition is that everything that is comes out of the one. But where did it start? You know, I asked at the beginning, was there ever a beginning? So we know this one. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, so you could say, well, it had to be an egg or it had to be a chicken. But then, what came before that? When we're talking about the creation of the universe, the Big Bang, what came before that? What was form like? Was there form? What was it like before the Big Bang? And what about before that? And before that? You see, we can't actually point to a true beginning. So we have this recognition now that as far as quantum physics has been showing us, science, philosophy, religion, ancient wisdom, current new discoveries are starting to point us in the same directions, coming to similar conclusions from different avenues. Does this make sense what I'm saying? Now, we too want to move forward into additional avenues and not just be stuck in the maze of our life as we have carried it forward. So what we want to be able to do now is recognize that everything that exists as this one thing means that we get to choose what we embody and take forward and what we let go of. And we're choosing to do this at the beginning of the year rather than at the end of the year. Many communities do a burning bowl ceremony at the end of the year, right before the new year happens, to say, okay, I'm letting go of this, and this is what I want to welcome. But it usually happens before the end of the year has really ended. We're 4 days into the new year. This is our opportunity now to discover what direction we want to go and what we want to leave behind. So we're going to do something a little wild. Now, some of you have seen this happen before when Reverend Carol used to do it at the Yule ceremony. And when she did it at the Yule ceremony, what would happen is everybody would write down what they were going to let go of. Everybody write it down. And she would go around and collect them. And she'd put them in this big sieve that went inside a special bowl. And she would hold that way up in the air. And then she would take her candle lighter and she would light it. And the whole thing would go in an enormous flame. Now that's one way of letting go. But what happens when you take personal responsibility for letting it go into the fire? Well, that's a little trickier, and it might be a little bit scary. So here's how you do this. And the truth is, if you... Oh, I dropped it? Oh, yeah. Okay. So the truth is, if this is too scary for you, what I invite you to do is come forward and hand it to me. We're going to take this. Now, what I want to do with this is just take a moment to thank it and get ready to let it go. We are knowing that this flame is blessed, that what goes into this fire has a sacred completion to it. And you'll see that there are stones all the way around this bowl that are heart-shaped. This is to ground us in love as we begin. This bowl is simply to contain it all. And then I also have a fire blanket just in case. So you take what you're releasing, look at it, put it in the flame, and let it go. Now, when you toss it, it will completely be destroyed because it's flash paper. So there will be no flame. There will be no ash. There will be no smoke. There will be nothing like that. You just touch it to the flame and throw it up. Does this make sense, what I'm asking you to do? So those of you that are willing, come forward. If you don't want to do it yourself, hand it to me and I will do it. We know that everything that's being released here, the universe is taking it from us, okay? So we want to honor each person's release, so let's maintain the silence as we do this. Whew. And it disappears. See if you can toss it up when you light it. Toss it up. Good girl. Great. And it will go. Gone.
This is for Julie.
It's gone. And you have another one.
For Julie.
So this is also going and gone. Up. No, it's okay. They will disappear. Very nice, yes. Magic. Ooh. Up. There you go. Yeah, it's gone. Beautiful. Let it go. There you go. I want you to not chat right now because something is happening here. So, there you go. Could you not talk, please? Could you not talk, please, while we're doing this? Thank you. Oops. There it goes. You can just toss it up. It'll disappear completely. Yep, there you go. There you go. Are you going to cauterize your hand? Ooh. Yeah. There we go. Completely gone. There you go. Yep. Ooh. There you go. Mm-hmm. Yes. It's gone. There you go. Gone. Ooh.
This is mine. This is for somebody else.
Okay. There you go. Gone. One more. One more. Yes. Oh, my flame went out. Don't go out yet. We got another one to do. Here we go. There we go. Perfect. You're welcome. So now these things that have been released to the ethers, released to the larger beingness, that's our burning bowl. That's our release. Yes? And now we want to put something in its place. What do we want to invite in? What quality wants to be expanded or developed or discovered in you? So close your eyes for a moment and just open that intuition and allow the divine to bring to you an idea, an image, a word that is yours for this year to live into. Now you want to take that word then, anchor it in yourself. So once again, wiggle your toes, rub your hands together, and think about that word. You will see at the end of the service that Karen Frost, who did our altar this morning, has a bowl on the altar that's filled with little angel cards which have qualities on them. Whatever quality you just got, whichever quality came to mind, whatever you pick up from that bowl is giving you more information about that quality. Or if you could not access whatever it was, if this was too weird and nothing came to you, then whatever quality you pick up out of that bowl is what the universe is offering you to develop, to experience, to grow into this year. Your own intuitive nature will cause that correct angel card to come to you, even if you don't believe it. And if you get a blank angel card, the universe is inviting you into a lot of great discovery in this coming year. One of the things that guides us in the science of mind is something that Ernest Holmes wrote a long time ago. Ernest Holmes, our founder. He called it, at the time, What I Believe. And it was printed in the very first Science of Mind magazine, way back in the 1920s. It then became something that got referred to as What We Believe, and now we call it the Declaration of Principles. It's longer than this, but I'm going to share a couple pieces of it with you that go right along with what I've been talking about this morning. He starts off at the very beginning saying, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. In other words, there's nothing before it because it's infinite. And then he says, this one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. In other words, it is all there is, but it is more than all there is. The manifest universe, everything in form, everything we can experience and see, the manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. In other words, self-knowingness has to be spread in the very creation itself, because that's where the essence of it, the source of it, is. That's what it is. So that's the very first section. Then it goes on, and then it says something that I think of as kind of a corollary to this first section. It says, we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. Now, I have been saying in the last number of weeks here, as we have come together, this infinite, this oneness, this whatever it is that we believe in, is not just something we think about and talk about intellectually when we all come together for a class or in this room. It's here. It's in this space. It is conscious and aware of itself as all of this and all of us. It is in us. It is our own beingness. And we are one with each other and it in ways beyond what we can imagine. We are all connected. We're all the hum of the one, even with our individual notes. The rain, the flooding, our cars, this altar, this experience we just had, the beating of our own heart. We are that. Now, if you're sitting in your living room or in your bedroom, or you're watching this on your computer at work, which you probably shouldn't be, but we won't go there. Wherever you are, that presence is right there where you are at this very moment, just like it's right here. And in essence, this here and that there are not far apart at all. They're absolutely one, because we know that that one is not limited by distance, by time. The oneness is happening, and we're in it. So we bless 2026 right now. We bless it in advance of knowing what is coming in this year. And here is what we're calling forth from 2026. Those qualities in you that want to be developed, that want to be advanced, they are calling you. They are pulling you in their direction. Your intuition will move you toward them. No matter what else happens, no matter how confusing something may look or how difficult some condition may be, that pull will subtly continue within you throughout this year. So we call that good and very good, whatever that quality is. This combination of qualities are already generating a powerful effect on all of us in this room. We are not the same people who walked in the door this morning, because we're all affecting each other and we're all affected by what we have just done in this ritual. We collectively, together now, do bless what has been released, and we let it go collectively and individually, and we welcome and take on the qualities that want to be developed in us. So I'm going to invite you to do this. Take your hands up like this. You're gathering the quality or qualities and bring it down into yourself right now. Breathe into it and welcome it. This is the truth of who we are now and what we are becoming. We do this for ourselves, for our community, for our ancestors, for our descendants and our relatives and our friends, and all that is, because they are kin to us. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. So we have just anchored that in our consciousness and grounded it already. Please stand and join me now for the morning affirmation. As we say together, there is one source out of which everything and everyone emerges. All of creation is connected to this source and to all within it. My life comes from this source, and I am part of it all. And so it is. Thank you. You may be seated. Would the ushers please come forward? This is our sacred giving time. If you are online with us and you'd like to donate to Golden Gate, we would welcome that with joy. You can do that by texting the dollar amount you want to give to the number on the screen, and then just follow the directions. Also, that can be done by those of you that are here, or you can give in another way, or you may already automatically give so you don't have something you're giving today. That's all fine. We're going to bless all of those gifts and ourselves, because we're part of the gift from the universe and to the universe as well. So I invite you to put your hands over your heart together as we say this giving affirmation. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Way over yonder is a place that I know, where I can find shelter from a hunger and cold. And the sweet taste in good life is It's so easily found. Way over yonder, that's where I'm bound. And I know when I get there, the first thing I'll see is the sun shining brightly, shining right down on me. And trouble's gonna lose me. Worry leave me behind. And I'll stand up proudly into peace of mind, talking about way over yonder is a place I have seen. It's a garden of wisdom from some long ago dream. Maybe tomorrow I'll find my way to the land where the honey runs, in the river each day. And the sweet taste in good life is so easily found. Way over yonder, that's where I'm bound. Way over yonder, that's where I'm bound.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, there we go. All right. So we do, all of us together, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering, and we send it out into the world to encourage the intuitive guidance and wisdom that belongs to each one. And so it is. Thank you. Now, if you're with us for the very first time this morning, please check out our information table back here behind this section. All kinds of things there can be picked up and taken with you. They're all for you. But make sure you get a welcome packet Those are the white envelopes that say welcome on them. And inside you'll find a blue card. If you fill that out and turn it in back there, then you can take one of those little books called Nourishing Thoughts. That is our thank you to you for being here today and our invitation to you to come back and be with us often in the future so we get a chance to get to know you. Also, I want to thank everybody who was involved in setting up and creating this experience this morning, especially Karen Frost for this wonderful altar, and make sure you get your angel card, yes, and Wendy and Amanda for the music this morning. And thank you, all of you who decided to brave the water and get yourselves here this morning. I really am glad that you made it safely. Please go home safely as well. For those of you that are having January birthdays, would you please stand? Anybody having a January birthday? Oh, look at that. Yes? Okay. And back at the back. Okay, because we want to sing you happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear January. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Yes. Today is our Ukraine Partnership Sunday, and you'll find that the Ukraine table is set up over here in the corner. If you would like to find out the information about what's going on with that partnership, you can find that there. You can do the little encouragement cards for the teachers and students that we're connecting with over there in Ukraine now with Dr. Barbara Leger's curriculum for inner peace, which they are using and really needing. And if you do any of those cards, please print. They are learning to read the English, but not in cursive. So please print. And if you don't want to make postcards, you can always bring stickers to donate over there so that people doing postcards have more stuff to decorate with. But please check that out. Deborah, are you going to be at the table this morning? So talk to Deborah Irwin. She can update you on all the latest of what's going on. Also, remember that the new member class and the foundations class are both starting this month. Foundations in about 3 weeks, a little less than that. And the membership class is starting next Sunday. If you'd like to be a member of Golden Gate or to take the foundations class, you need to sign up back at the table back here. This is our activity table. We have a couple sign-up sheets for those back there. Or you can email our administrator at ggcsl.org and let her know that you'd like to register for one of those classes, because we want to make sure you get the Zoom link and all the handouts and all that stuff. All right? Also, we have our sacred service coming up at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank on Tuesday, January 13th from noon to 2. If you'd like to be part of the January team, you need to let Helen Nicosia know that. So her information is up on the screen. Please contact her. You have 2 more days to contact her if you want to be on the January team, and let her know your connection, your email and so on, and that you'd like to do that so that you can be included. Also, the Coffee and Faith Sharing group that meets with practitioner Leslie Giannetti will be Wednesday, January 14th at Cafe Aroma on 4th Street in San Rafael. Everybody's welcome to attend that at 10 a.m. and have some conversations over your coffee there. Finally, I want to remind you there are a variety of ways to engage with prayer for your life. Don't be shy about getting prayer for your life, for heaven's sake. You would go to the doctor if you had a problem physically, right? So go to your practitioner if you have a problem with your relationships or whatever it might be, or letting go of what you just let go of. You can stop and talk with Anne this morning, who is one of our licensed practitioners. She is in service over here today at the prayer table. If she's not there when you get there, just wait a minute, she'll be right back. She'll be with somebody else. Or you can make a written prayer request to put into the box. I want to invite the ushers to surround the room. I mean, not the ushers, the practitioners to surround the room now as we prepare for our closing prayer. And I'm going to invite you all to turn within right now and know with me that there is one infinite presence which is everywhere, in everything, all the time, not limited by time or by space. So we let go into that divine presence all that wants to be released by us now, knowing that it is re-neutralized and repurposed as neutral energy for creation, and that we welcome from this one source of energy the greater truth of our own being, our own essence, in qualities of patience and hopefulness and love and peace and creativity and beauty and community. We bless all of this with love, and we let it carry us into this week as transformed beings for 2026. This is great and good, and we allow that work to continue within us throughout this week and to bring itself to our awareness. We are grateful. We let this prayer go into the law, and we let it go into the heart of God, where it always has been the truth of us. And together we say, and so it is. Please stand and join us in the closing blessing and song now. Say this with me. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness. For spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is. Yes, and now we're going to sing a great old spiritual, I'll Fly Away.
1932.
1932.
Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life are gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison flies has flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never